are you turning yourself down? So anytime that, and we do that, right? We sit there and we criticize ourselves first. We don't even give ourselves a chance. You don't even give other people to tell you a chance to say no. You shut yourself down first.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't be the one that ever limits you.
And he said that over and over again. I'm never going to be the one that limits me.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right.
And that's so very true. And especially women do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We question our self-worth, I think, more than men do, unfortunately. So pick another one.
Oh, this one, he said, I don't care about reality. I don't care about reality. I don't play in reality. He is like constantly in his imagination. And, so isn't that amazing? Because... So I read this Fortune magazine article recently, and it said 95% of 4-year-olds are creative and use their imagination. 5% of 45-year-olds are creative and use their imagination.
That's so
Isn't it so sad?
What 40 years can do to you.
Yeah. And I think he touched on it a little bit in the class as well. But that's the same kind of thought. Like, when was the last time that you really played in the world of make-believe, when you really tapped into your imagination and believed it, and really believed it, right? Like when you were a child, you're like, I am a teacher, or I am a doctor, and I'm playing doctor, or I'm Superman, and you really believed it as a kid, right? So when, I would ask that to the audience, like, when was the last time that you really played in your imagination and you believed it? And you shut down all of the society norms and expectations. You can't do that. And you just said, that's what I'm going to do. That's me, And you were creative. Yeah.
And things happen when you get in that state of mind. And when you're around creative people. And it's so uplifting, and it just makes you look at life differently.
Yeah, because they're not saying you can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that. Whatever you want to do, you can do.
Right. Then Misty, like Josh used to say to me, you can never do that. You can't do that. Yeah. And that just made me, yes, I can. Watch me. Right. And yes, and there are those people, and I think sometimes you need those kind of people I do. I need them to question my dreams sometimes, because then it becomes clearer for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can see how much resistance when you're hearing negative input on your dream, on your baby.
Yeah.
How do you react to that? Do you get angry and defensive, or do you melt and cower, right?
Ah,
so if you get angry and defensive, then you really believe in your dream, and it's like, I'm not even going to sanction what you just said to me, because it's false news. It's false news. Don't even come to me with that information. I had a student in my office the other day, and she's saying I said, so what is it that you really want to do? She's been at this job for a year, and it's not her passion. She has this big passion. I said, what is it that you want? And she wants to find another job, but it's not her big passion. And I said, look, we can find you another job, but you're still not going to be happy because it's not your passion. So I pulled out a sheet of paper and I said, so why can't you do your dream again? Let's just write out all your excuses, honey.
Yeah. I love it.
And she looked at me and she started laughing, right? So, because they're all excuses. They're all excuses.
Yep.
And so, that's one of the things I love to do, is call people on their excuses.
Right. And some people think that excuses keep you grounded.
Yeah.
Being grounded is not a good thing. Yeah. Think of it when your parents grounded you. Was that a good thing? No. It was not. I always picture, when I feel like I picture myself floating, and sometimes I get pulled down. But it's okay. I just have to flap my wings harder. And I do that all the time. I visualize that.
Yeah, That's really
Going
good.
back to Josh's comment, though, I think that's kind of something that you've really got to be careful with. I find myself doing that, too. If someone says I can't do it, I'm like, rise up to that and challenge on, right? But that doesn't always mean that it's the best decision for me. That doesn't always mean that needs to be the goal. And then oftentimes I find that myself that I'm more focused on proving someone else wrong or proving that, yes, I can do it, then is this really a good choice for me? Is this really where I need to invest my resources and my energy and my thinking until it comes to the point where sometimes that's all you can think about.
But you overthink.
Yes, guilty. Control freak, I already said that.
But
Let's
Misty
get over that.
Yeah, Misty made a really good point, is to check your intention.
Right, that's
Always
exactly
check your
right,
intention, because that will always help you make the choice. You know, if your intention is pure, if it's what you want to do rather than I'm doing this to prove somebody wrong, like you said, Misty, that's a great point. Check your intention.
Well, and oftentimes I don't get involved or overly involved in it with the intention of proving someone wrong, but somewhere along the road, I lose sight of what the goal is.
Originally.
And the focus becomes, yes, I can. I'm not going to tolerate people telling me I can't do this. I can do it. Well, it's not always can you, is should you.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
You should. Absolutely.
You should, yeah.
And again,
Absolutely.
if you looked back at the intention, then it would tell you if you should or not.
Yeah, but that's an afterthought.
And then that's true.
Yeah,
And then
emotion.
he said, "Don't, should, would, could." Just saw that on here.
Yes,
don't,
that'll
shoulda, woulda,
consume you.
coulda.
Right.
Yeah, there's so much power in getting rid of shoulda,
it.
coulda, woulda, those excuses, right? So,
Right. And Mel Morse always says, speaking of birthday girl, she always says, "Don't should on me, and I won't should on you."
I like
And I
that.
think that is very good. Yes. Think about what you loved to do as a child. Why would you not have a life without those things today?
Yeah, that was a powerful
That
exercise.
was very powerful.
Right. I had my little poster, you know, and I showed everybody in the class. Like, so this was young.
It wasn't little.
You know, I'm the queen of the Post-it sticky notes, you know. So what I did was, so when I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher, right? I played school. And then my other favorite thing to do was to build mazes in my bedroom out of Lincoln logs, out of blocks, out of Legos. I mean, out of anything that I could possibly imagine. And then I would drop my hamsters in the maze and help them try to get out of the obstacle, right? So think about that. So today I am a teacher. I am a coach. I help people overcome obstacles, and so
You've
that's
exceeded all of those goals. Yeah.
So that was how that exercise it came together. Like, really look at what you did as a child, and how have you incorporated that into your life today? What used to bring you joy?
Right.
Are you still practicing that on some level today?
And I've been doing that for a long time in my coaching, is going back to that, because that is how you find what makes you happy. And sometimes if you have a job that you hate and you have to have that job, if you do the other thing as a hobby or as a release, you can still
Tolerate it.
Right. Because, I mean, if you're an engineer and you're really high up in your company or your pay scale, and you're supporting a family, you can't just walk away from that. But you can have a creative release, for sure.
Absolutely.
And it was kind of amazing, some of the stories that those women told about what they loved as kids and how it's incorporated in their lives today. Wasn't it fun?
Yeah, it was really
I wish I
fun.
could think. Oh, the one lady has always loved to cook, and she's not doing it now, but does she cater now?
Yeah, I think she does.
She has a little
but
catering
That's when
company.
I kind of leaned over and I said, "So what's your signature dish?" Right? And she said greens, and she said, "Oh, she makes a really good barbecue sauce." And I'm
See,
like,
and
"So
I
you
wanna-
need to like bottle that and
That's
sell it,
right.
market it, and merchandise it."
And
right?
she was fun, yes.
Yeah, she was
And then
fun.
there was one very young girl in there that didn't know. I think she really got a lot out of this class. She gained a lot of power, of personal power. It was pretty amazing, actually, to watch her.
Right. Changing her mindset, because it sounded like the people around her have a really negative mindset. Keep her down. They're not ambitious. And so she actually, it seemed like she saw that for the first time, that the people around her are impacting her success and her growth. It was huge.
I think she's going to overcome that. Yeah. I really do. Mm-hmm. And she's young. I think she's like only 26 or something, wasn't she? Very young. And then there was one lady that was a realtor, and she was a hoot. She was really fun and very powerful, and I liked her a lot. And yet she tender. Mm-hmm. There was a tender side of her as well. And we got to see everything. That's why I loved the class so much. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that we talked about was in the very beginning was the things that we don't like about ourselves, our faults, so to speak. Like the most predominant one was procrastination. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you agree with that? And tell us, Beth, what Terry said about that.
Oh, what did he say? I think this one. He said, "Run with what you've got. Success has nothing to do with what you're not."
Exactly.
So, it doesn't matter. He said, "You're not broken."
Exactly.
Nobody has to fix anything.
She is.
You are perfectly perfect the way that you are here today, sitting in this room, right? It's all about focusing on your successes. Yeah, that was awesome.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
And the way that he said it was...
You are absolutely perfect right where you are today. You
right.
couldn't be better.
Yeah.
And nobody's broken here. There's nothing to fix. And he said that throughout the class, too. And then he opened it showing this diagram of the way that life usually is, that you go up through school, you follow these rules, go on to college, follow these rules,
right.
Get a job that you should get because you have this degree from college, and follow these rules. And then next to it, he had a blank piece of paper, and he said, I live on this blank piece of paper.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Isn't that something?
That's where I picture myself, too, but that's often I'm clueless.
Start drawing on it.
Start
Just
drawing.
draw. Faces.
Doodles.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
I don't know if it's a generational thing, but I find that the younger generation, when I'm speaking to them, they get it a lot faster than I ever did, or our generation ever did. Generation X, or
it's because the parents that brought them up to see beyond, I think.
Yeah, I mean, last week I had 2 conversations. Amazing. So these are young 20-something. They've got it going on. This cat is like 24 years old. He already has his CPA. He's been at a firm for 2 years, and he hates it, right? So that's why he called me. And I said, and he's successful in every standard definition that our society would deem successful, right? You did everything right, got your degree, you're making great money, you have a career, and I said, so what is it that you want to do? And he just just a huge big sigh, and he said, I really want to be a beekeeper.
Oh,
and I'm just
that's
like,
what?
Wow, to be like in your
beekeeper.
mid-20s and say, screw all the society norms and everything that I, invested in, and I don't want to do that. That's not who I am. This is what I want to do.
Isn't that
and I was
interesting?
Just like, wow.
And a beekeeper, of all things, that's like way on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's not even
he's
near the
playing
middle.
on the blank sheet of paper.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes,
and
he's jumped off of it.
I admire that. I really admire that.
Yeah. Wow. That just amazes me. I live on the blank sheet of paper because I have no idea what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
So that's the thing that he challenged us to do in class. And we all came up with some really daring ideas, some dreams.
Huge dreams.
Yes.
Just to kind of circle back on that thought about, so here's a situation, I'm not happy. Typically we call them problems, right? That, we've got a problem going on in our life. And Terry had said there's no